Beep beep. Welcome to the Court of the EDI Jester. Hello everyone, and how are we doing? Okay, first a thank you to all who support me. I have to do this regularly because I can't. You know, somebody sends me a bit of bob, a few bob, a bit of cash, or you make a comment on my YouTube or you share something. Thank you to everyone. I have to keep doing this. It's very important that I do because it reminds me the only reason I get to do this is because of you, right? And that's, I think, an important reminder I have to have every so often. Being a bloviating windbag because of the ego the size of a planet. It's best to slap myself down than for waiting somebody else to do it. Right? Having said this, having uttered those words, fabulous session with the warrior teachers this morning. What? You know, we this particular group are in month 3, and oh boy. Oh dear. But in other news, sad news, another warrior teacher unfortunately lost her budgie, flew out the window. Now, this warrior teacher will be watching this. That poor thing used to come and visit us during the session. Sit on her head. Now she's lost it. Flew out the window. Get the budgie back. I know I moan about it, but you know. So as one of the other warrior teachers said, oh dear, that's a rather nice distraction. Budgie sits on her head. I love it. You know who you are. I'm talking about you. Right? Down under. Okay? See, they have budgies flown out. Down under in Australia. It's an Australian budget has gone on Walkabout. Sorry, I shouldn't be doing that for a serious topic, which is what we have today. I've got an update for you. Just a bit more information around that Levine thing. Do you remember I posted over the last couple of days about that LARPing Levine bloke who's pretended to be a woman? Do you remember Admiral, AGP Levine? Right? So here's something more about that I think was important just to recap on again. Because this one's worth watching, folks, right? It's not sort of on many people's radars, but let me know whether you think I'm correct about that, mind. I think it's worth watching. Rachel Levine's emails relevant to case challenging Alabama's transgender medical care ban for children, judge rules, right? So emails and other records from US Assistant Secretary for Health, Rachel Levine, AGP, on transgender medical care for children will have to be produced by the Justice Department after a federal judge ruled that they are relevant to a case challenging Obama's ban on such care. This is what they've done is so clever. Okay, so this is a federal judge, right? So that's up there, right? Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall and lawyers defending the state from the lawsuit had been repeatedly rebuffed by Justice Department lawyers who claimed Levine's work is too broad and high level for searches of her/his email account or documents to result in relevant information pertaining to this lawsuit, according to court records. So they said the Alabama Attorney General had said, because Alabama's banning it, there's these people that want to stop them from banning it, and the Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall kept saying we need the emails because we need to understand where they're coming from and all this, and they were constantly rebuffed by Justice Department lawyers. There's far too much rebuffing going on, I think. Stop rebuffing. It's annoying. Levine's records were argued as part of a case called Bowe versus Marshall, the federal lawsuit brought by 5 parents who claim a 2022 state law strips them of the right to make important decisions about their children's healthcare. The Vulnerable Child Compassion and Protection Act, which was signed into law by Government Kay Ivey, bans puberty blockers, hormone therapies, and gender-affirming surgery for minors. That's what I call a bloody good start, right? The law punishes not only doctors, but also any other individual who prescribes or administers the treatments with a felony conviction and up to 10 years in jail. How do you like them potatoes? Right? So that deals with your transhousing parent, doesn't it? My lovely 2-year-old gender non-conforming son who was a daughter. That deals with the nutters, doesn't it? The parental nutters. Because you remember Helen Joyce spoke about them. They're the ones that will never give up. They're the Japanese soldiers 25 years after the war still fighting. Right? They'll never give up. But it's blatantly child abuse, isn't it? To affirm a trans identity in a child is child abuse. End of story. And that's what's being said here. In defending the state's ban on gender-affirming care for children, lawyers for Alabama argued that Levine, that's the LARPing AGP, who is the first Senate-confirmed transgender official in a presidential administration, who's the first bloke in a dress that got away with pretending he's a woman in a presidential administration has highly relevant communication and documents to the lawsuit. Okay, that was what was said in defending. So they also said, when defending it, it is not hyperbole to say that Admiral Levine is the leading public-facing official in the United States governing when it comes to transitioning treatment for minors. The state said in its motion for Levine's records, pointing to his public statement on gender-affirming care and his background as a paediatrician specialising in LGBTQ medicine. No such thing, for God's sake. On November the 21st, US District Court Judge Lils Burke ruled in Marshall's favour. Given that Levine is a public official and a public disgrace, the court... She didn't say that, that's me, I added that in, right? Can't help myself, right? The court rests this finding in part on the parties' representation that the production of those emails would neither interfere with her official duties, his official duties, or burden him personally. Burke wrote in his ruling. So what they're saying is, it's not going to bother Levine, get him, right? I'm glad the court granted, Marshall said, our motion to require them to search Admiral Levine's emails for documents relevant to our defence of Alabama's law. Marshall said in a statement, Levine has been at the forefront of the Biden administration's reckless promotion of sex modification procedures for children. There is no doubt about that, nor about the Admiral's, and here we go, close involvement with radical organisations like WPATH, whose standard of care mandate the use of sterilising hormones and surgeries to treat vulnerable children suffering from gender dysphoria. Once again, something I don't believe exists. We look forward to reviewing the documents they produce as we continue to defend Alabama's children. If you were to go back historically and look at Alabama, it wasn't exactly, a state that was known for its lightning views, but it does seem ahead of the game here, doesn't it? It does seem ahead of the game in protecting children from these TQ plus Fruit Loops in their self-made-up cult with their self-made-up diagnosis. I think that this is going to be a very important case for America, and I think it's going to mean that we're going to get first-hand a look at what this Levine LARPing bloke is up to. Bearing in mind the video I did, whenever I did it a couple of days ago or whatever it was, shows the type of thinking that they're medicalising in order to make money. So it's about profit. They're profiting from the mutilation, sterilisation, and surgical butchery of children. It's not complicated. So I think that we need to watch this one. Keep an eyeball. I will keep an eyeball for you as your friendly jester. Other than that, become a warrior t-shirt, buy me a coffee. For God's sake, send me your money. And thanks. All right, go and have a look. Go and have a read. It's all in the Dubras. I'll see you later.